Alright guys, so today is a quick video. A couple of weeks ago I went to B&M and I bought some LED lights, which you can see behind me, and then I saw this Goodmans Action Camera, and you can see it's a full HD action camera and 1080p apparently. So it was at $24.99. When I saw it, it was at $19.99. But I went around today to get some bulbs for the LED bulbs up there, and it's £15 they had it on for. Black Friday sale apparently. So I've brought it in. I'm gonna check it out because it's not a decent unboxing of this to show what it's like, but we'll see what we can do with it and what it kind of does. So I'll do a quick unboxing, I'll do some test footage and compare it to my mobile, because I use my Samsung A3 to do quite a few random shots, and that records at 1080. So I'm going to compare this to that. It's not fair to compare it to a DSLR, so we'll see what we get from that. Okay, so first what I'll do is I'll show you a quick unboxing. There's loads of unboxing videos, so I won't show you too much detail about that. Right now this unboxing is being filmed by my Samsung A3 camera at 1080p. It's just on a tripod facing straight down. So what I'm going to do is put this Goodmans camera in this place so you can get a direct comparison of what it looks like recording this same view you're seeing right now. Okay, so the shot you're seeing now, it's a wider view because the Goodmans camera is action camera and it's got like a wide view setup. So that's directly what you're seeing where my phone was previously recording this tabletop unboxing. So you will get a wider view. Quality wise, it's YouTube, so you may not notice a big difference, but you also need to keep in mind the room I'm filming in here is a studio upstairs, so I've got loads of lights in the studio, so it might give you a false sense of quality of the image, because not everybody's going to have loads of lights on the what you're recording. So if I take this camera off this setup and show you the actual recording, like what it looks like in terms of how many lights are around, then you can see there's two LED panels there, 300 LEDs. There's two lights in the ceiling. There's like a bit of background LED lighting there, and I also have a light bouncing off the ceiling for the tabletop shot, so that's like loads of light. So you may think this looks good in terms of quality, but you may already know if you have loads of light, then everything looks good in terms of the pixels and the quality of the image. So now here I'm going in close onto some dark things just to see how it shows the darks and the brights. These are just some boxes of my Canon stuff, my cameras, and you can see they're still performing quite well. So yeah, just do a few close-ups inside and then I can go straight out and then do a couple of shots maybe with the car, I think. So I'll go in the car park and just show you a little daylight shot. So it's about 12 o'clock this is, and you can see it's just normal daylight. So that's what the colors look like on the camera. It's a wide angle shot, which all action cameras will be. I'm just holding the camera in my hand, the Goodmans camera. So here, for the normal average person that will be using it, you may not worry about things like that. Here's a quick lapse I did with the camera. It's probably about 20 seconds long max, if that. No, less than that. I think it's 4 seconds condensed down to, because the camera was set up to take a photo every 5 seconds at 10 megapixels, and it was on the time-lapse option. So that's the option you get in this camera. It's built showing you this mount I've got here doesn't come with the setup. This is a mount I've already had. Suction action case, because this I couldn't mount it onto my little suction cup because that adapter thing wasn't there. So I just used this open cage which did come with it. Okay, so that was a little montage of the car scene, and that was all recorded at the Goodmans. Now it's later in the evening and I'm using the bike, so I've mounted the camera onto the handlebar. I'm just riding around just to show you the quality of it in terms of if you're using it as an action camera for cycling. So it's a good option for a dash cam at worst. For £15 you can't go wrong really for that purpose. So I wouldn't recommend this as a main camera. If you've got a few cameras and you want to get some funky shots to add into your b-roll, then it's fine. So you can do like a couple of shots here or there, but as a sole camera I don't think the quality is there. But a lot of people use these cameras just to add a bit of like wavavum to your footage so you can get different shots. But you can see here my bike doesn't have great suspension, so everything's like rattling about and knocking about. But if you get a smooth bit of road, then it might be okay. But yeah, to summarize, if this camera is something you've seen, for £15 buy it. And if you have other cameras, use this in conjunction with those cameras to get good shots, and use it so you can actually get like underwater type shots as well, because it's got a waterproof case. I haven't really tested that functionality yet because I don't think I'll ever need to use it for that purpose, but overall build quality wise it seems fine. Battery can't be changed, it's a 900 milliamp hour battery, and so far with my runs it's lasted about 10 minutes if that, on recording. But with the I've been doing quite a lot of changing and settings and stuff, so it may last longer, so I'd say probably half an hour would be fine. But I have been plugging a battery bank directly into it and powering it off that, so that's one good thing you can do, but then you can't use. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So this is in addition to my cheap action camera series that I've been shooting a few videos for. So I got this cheap Goodmans action camera, and just been playing about with it to see how good it is and the types of shots I can get. So this video is basically going to be to cover the mounts and the options available to you to mount the camera with the available accessories they give you. So here you'll see there's a few little all sorts of mounts. It can be confusing and the guide's not very good, so I thought I'll do a video to show you. So here I'm just showing you there's two types of these screw heads that you get with it. One's a short one and one's a longer one. Keep your eye on that, because when you're screwing on this plastic waterproof case you want to use the longer one. What it allows you to do is, see, I can easily screw there without having the case obstruct my hand, whereas if you use a smaller one it's actually harder because it goes further in. So that's the first thing to note. This smaller one is for the secondary accessory which you use to kind of mount it at a 90 degrees angle. This one here is to mount it on a handlebar or any bar, to be honest. And also to keep an eye out here, when you undo that screw that nut just falls out. So I've had that fall out on me a few times when I was out on the bike trying to fit it on, so keep your eye on that. You can probably put a bit of glue or something just to glue it into that little section that's there that holds it in place so it doesn't keep falling out. But for now, for this video, I'll just show you examples as well as this mounting method, so you can see what you achieve with that mount, because I've done a bit of testing with this camera and it's not too bad. The footage is not great, but for a secondary shooting angles and just putting a bit of extra footage in your better camera videos, it's quite good. You'll see in this montages I've done. So here I'm just mounting the 90 degrees onto that, I'll call this bottom one the handlebar one, because you can get your handlebars through there, or a bar clamp type thing. So you mount the waterproof casing onto that, so now you'll see it's facing the opposite direction to the lower clamp, which you can use on handlebars or lower frame bars. It's not great in handlebars, I'll tell you that now, because it's too shaky and the footage is not great. I'll show you examples later on, but here that's a setup one. You have to tighten these so it doesn't move about. So this is the setup I used for this. I'll show you now an example. It's a lower frame of my bike here. So you'll notice the clamp hole can be bigger than your frame, so what you want to do is pack it out with something, and it's a temporary angle. I just did like 3 or 4 shots on it, so I used a bit of tissue paper there which helps secure it in place and it stops it rolling around and rattling. So there you'll see that's how that fits onto that lower bar, and then this is the type of footage you get. Foot shots were shot with this camera and with this mount, and again I've got a monopod here where I've just screwed on the camera at the end, and this is another option you can use this camera for, like a bit of a selfie stick. You can use any type of stick that it clamps onto and you can just shoot yourself, and it gives decent angles. I'll show you a collection now. Just a quick fun video I did just straight away off the bat, and that was just recorded straight off the camera and put straight into this editing software. So you'll see with the guide it gives you like the things you can use, but not great deal of information of how you mount them and stuff. So I'll take you on to the next one now. So here you can take the camera out of the waterproof casing and use this, I'll call this a clear, like a frame type case, where you can mount it onto a tripod. So you'll see there I put this in the corner of the studio on a little mono tripod thing, and I did a time lapse. just in the software that I added that pan and zoom to give it a bit of motion, but that's the third kind of way you can use the clamp. Also it comes with this little screw on at the bottom, which lets you then mount it onto that same first mount that we used to put it on the handlebars. And again, it depends what you're doing, because if it's in the waterproof case, it doesn't give great audio. It's not great for audio. I wouldn't recommend speaking directly into it, but if you have to at a pinch, you can, to help you sync audio later on, use this case. So that's what I'm using here on the bike handlebars, and you'll see it's terrible. It's not great. As a type of dash cam, it might be okay to record incidents on the road, but I wouldn't recommend it. So what I've done is, there's another way you can mount this to get cycling footage, which I'll show you now, and that brings this kind of last straps they give you into play. So there's two straps they give you here, and those straps can go through this plate here, which has this kind of section that you put it through there. If you watch, probably be easier to watch it than explain it, but that I've put through this clamps. So I clamped the first one into the second one just to make it a bit longer, and then this will become slightly longer, so then I'll loop it around, and you can mount it onto your head directly, but I found it's easier because I've got quite big hair and it messes about with it. I've got a cap that I use, just a black standard cap, so I'll show you that in a sec, but I'm just mounting the camera onto there, and this slides into that plate, so that's like an additional little tip that you can take it off and record and then mount it on this. So here's my black cap. You wrap this around the outer of the cap and it places there. It's going to be hard now because my head's not in it, but if you put your hat on your head and then put this strap on, you'll see this is the type of footage you get. So that's a lot better than the other footage I had, which is shaky. So here, example, and there you'll see I'm wearing the hat with the camera on, so I'm pointing my head down just to get like a bit of perspective shot. But you can look down at your handlebars and it gives you better. I'd say there I'm looking down, and that gives you a few different angles you can use to interlace with your other footage, like a b-roll type shot. And it is easier if you've got a medium size head. If your head's a bit bigger, you might have to add an extra strap into there or something. But that's a few examples of how you can mount this camera with the mounts they supply, and hopefully it gives you an idea of what you can do with it. That was a Range Rover there. So all I'm doing right now is using the action camera mounted at the end of a monopod, and I'm using that to just give you a bird's eye kind of up down view. It's nothing too complicated. All I've done is added the action camera at the end of my monopod, so it's right at the end there, and I'm holding the monopod. It's quite a long, thick monopod. I don't need it to be this thick, but this is the only one I've got, so I'm using it to show you and what you can achieve with the action camera just mounted. And here you should be able to see behind me, it's the River Cole, and I'm walking with the action camera now, so it should give you kind of a view of how it would perform while walking, and there shouldn't be too much movement in it because I'm kind of, my arm's taking the bounce out of it, and this will give you options to use a cheap camera more effectively if you're doing vlogging type stuff or you're out and about, because not all of us have big DSLRs and camera bodies that we can use between, and you may just have one camera that you want to use and have it kind of do all the recording for you. So that works out well if it's something you can see now. The 1080p it's recording at the moment, so you should be able to see what that quality is like. It's a cloudy day, so it shouldn't be too many shadows or highlights, but it should give you a good overview. So I'll do a little walking bit with it now so you can see the quality of the moving images, and a little bit of a 360. and hopefully we'll get a car go through there again, and we'll do a little shot of that, and hopefully I can slow-mo it down and see how slow it goes, because this action camera only records 30 frames a second at 1080p, so it's not great in terms of the quality there, but there you go, that gives you an idea. I'll do a few other shots of the water so you can see how that performs for the camera quality. And this is just a straight down shot, and you can do little effects like kind of those types, straight up and down, and use them in your shots.